are you doing today in school?
Oh, I'm good. How about you girls?
They're doing really well.
Right.
Do you want to take a few minutes to talk to us about your exhibit at the Central Campus?
Okay. Yes, I think sent 11 pieces there. Mostly low country paintings, landscapes, and I think one of Blue Ridge Mountains too. They're fairly large pieces, 30 by 40s, and maybe one is 48 by 60. So, but they are mostly landscapes and marscscapes.
So we want to ask you, how did you start painting?
Okay. It sounds like a fairy tale, but I'm going to tell you, and it's a true story. When I was growing up, I didn't take art classes. We didn't have art classes where I went to school. And at my home, we thought fine art was a Currier and Ives calendar taped to the refrigerator. So I didn't have a lot of art background. And I went to college and majored in forestry, and art hadn't crossed my mind. One day when I was working in the corporate world, I was about 23 years old, I went into a gallery, the North Carolina State Art Museum, on my lunch break, just killing time. And when I was in there, I went into the room where they housed the Dutch and Spanish still life painters, their work. And I was blown away by it. And especially one artist whose name was Franz Snyders. And there was a large painting there with 6 by 12 feet. And I actually have a picture of it there. If you can imagine that painting, 6 by 12 feet, with it's called Market on a Quay, and it's wildlife being sold at a market back in 1500s. That painting blew me away. I had to sit down and I studied it for an hour, and I thought, and I looked at the other paintings around, the still lifes, and I thought, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do with my life. I want to learn to be a painter. From that day forward, I started taking classes, night classes, community college classes. I went to the library and checked out books on art. So I'm a self-taught artist, and over the years I've learned to become an oil painter, and I have, for the last 26 years, I've been doing that full time. But that one day, that 1 hour, turned my life around.
That's awesome. So I guess now that you told us what inspired you to start, tell us a little bit about your creative process. So what's that like? What do you do to get inspiration for your pieces? Or
Well, I'm inspired mostly by nature in general, in particular. Things like the rising and setting of the sun over the horizon, especially clouds, the sky and clouds I'm influenced by. Also tropical birds and fish and all the bright colored animals in nature. I think that's the biggest influence on me is nature and its beautiful colors and the changing of the seasons and the beautiful rising and setting of the sun over the horizon. That's the biggest influence for me.
That's great. Do you have a favorite work or piece of art that you want to show us?
Well, my favorite work of art is one that I did for the Levine Children's Hospital. It's a large piece. It's 4 feet by 16 feet, and it is of animals. And it's for the children who are in the Levine Children's Hospital, who are there mostly to be treated for cancer. So in the hall, on the way to their cancer treatments, are these 16 feet paintings of jungle animals. And these these are two prints of the paintings. So if you can imagine, these two paintings, they're 4 feet high, and then the two of them together are 16 feet long. And the nurses are pushing these wheelchairs down the hall on the way to the treatments. And they stop and let the kids choose and find the animals. So I put as many animals as I could, and I hid them, and and the kids love it, and the staff loves these paintings. So because of that, and because of the difference it makes in those children's lives, these are my favorite paintings that I've ever done.
They're very beautiful. I love the colors.
Thank you.
Yeah, the variety.
Thank you. And I get paid twice for them.
Wow.
I got paid to paint them, and then every day I get paid by the kids who go by, and it changes their mood on the way to treatment.
That's so sweet. I love that. So I've actually noticed that a lot of your work is nature themed, and I know you've mentioned that before, that
Right.
those are some of the things that inspire you. So is there like a specific, like what exactly about like draws you to nature? Like what exactly fascinates you about natural elements?
Well, like I said, I think it's probably the colors. The colors of nature, I think, are probably the thing that inspires me most. And some of the colors in nature, as in the tropical birds and the fish and those things, you almost think it's artificial. It can't be a living thing to be that bright colored, or that beautiful shape or whatever. But and also the plants, flowers and trees and things, are just amaze me every day when I see these things.
Yeah, how did COVID-19 impact your artwork and
Well, it didn't impact my work schedule because I showed up still every day to paint. However, it did impact the walk-in traffic and the people who came to view art and buy art. We were closed down. Our building was closed down for a year to the general public. So it did make a difference in art sales especially. And every month we had a gallery crawl before COVID. And before COVID we had 2 open houses every year. And we would get up as many as 12 or 1,500 people at those 2 open houses, May and December. And at the gallery crawls, we'd get several hundred people through. Well, during COVID, the doors were locked, so that made a big difference in our art sales.
Well, I was also gonna ask, I guess, I know a lot of people are, especially during COVID, a lot of people started branching out into like more creative expression. So what advice would you have for like aspiring artists or anyone who's starting?
My advice to aspiring artists is one thing: show up. Show up at the easel every time you can or every day. That's the only way you get better. It's just like anything else. The more you practice, the better you'll be. It's like baseball, soccer, sports, swimming, whatever. The more you show up and do it, the better you'll be. And there's no difference in art. Just show up.
Yeah.